Come out with us and play. Love your London. Have a banana. On today's instalment of Love Your London, we'll be making the first of our visits to the Brick Lane area. But first, we have a little more to see around Spitalfields. Yeah, so this is by Calliope Lemos. Wooden boat with 7 people.
And broken glass.
This is actually an authentic boat that was used to transport people from Turkey to the shores of the Greek islands. An original boat. So it's very poignant. Must have been a nightmare to bring it over here. So we're going to check out something on Folgate Street. Now unfortunately, because of the Rona, we can't go inside. But this is Dennis Severs' house. Now Dennis Severs was an American. He was an artist and he bought an old dilapidated Huguenot house and he recreated it. He created a fictional family called the Jarvises, or the Gervais, like Mickey Gervais. Gervais, Jarvis, same name. As you're walking around, it's like you're walking into a house and you've just left a scene where, for example, you got the smell of half-baked bread. It's a fantastic building. So basically, the Huguenot silk weavers, this fictional family, but very real, obviously, they would have lived here from 1725 to 1919, according to this historical reimagining. And as you walk around, as I said, you get these amazing smells. You get the smell. It's just as though you've walked into a room and they've just left. So you've got like food laid out, certain smells. It was in 1979 is when he bought this dilapidated old house. And of course, he was not the only artist to buy an old house and do it up. We're going to check out the front of a house of Gilbert and George. Gilbert and George still live on Fournier Street, and they've been living there for years and years and years as the living sculpture. Fascinating people, fantastic art. I've seen their stuff at the White Cube twice. And I've also, one of my prized possessions is a signed print of theirs. Absolutely love Gilbert and George's stuff. And they're just such quirky eccentrics. You'll see them walking around the East End all the time. And in fact, every single day for the last few decades, I don't know how long it is, they have dinner in a restaurant in Dalston, which we'll be visiting when we get to Dalston. It's called Mangal 2, and they have the same food every single day. Sit down, eat it in the same corner, and I don't think, just sit there and eat it. That's become like a living sculpture. So when we get to Dalston, we might try and gate crash their dinner. I'm sure they'll be looking forward to that. Church by Hawksmoor, Christchurch. This is actually where Mary Kenny, Jack the Ripper's very last victim, was drinking on the 9th of November 1888. She was in there, and then the next morning she was found dead just over there in Miller's Hall. 10 Bells Pub actually was called the Jack the Ripper for quite a long time, last century. It was changed because it was thought in bad taste. Hello. Yeah, gonna have a drink. That's all right.
Anything else for you, mate?
That's all, thanks. Oh yeah. So these are listed. And these gentlemen here, by the way, that's Gilbert and George. Two local artists who live on Fournier Street, Gilbert and George. We might pass their house in a moment, actually. There's the upstairs whiskey bar. I do believe that that is a pastiche on Bronzino. Yeah, I know my stuff. Oh, that might demonetise me, that one. It's a lovely old pub, as you can see. It's also very popular with the local trans and LGBTQ plus community. You saw down there earlier Gilbert and George, who are local residents, very much local residents, depicted on the wall. Lots of characters, you can see. Lovely staff as well. Always like coming here. Okay, so we're here on Fournier Street. Now, a little bit earlier, we saw a painting of Gilbert and George, not by them, of course. And number 12 Fournier Street, which is this fantastic old Huguenot house over here. If you can look at the top as well, you'll see the beautiful light, which was, well, you tell us a little bit about that.
These sorts of structures were normally three stories. That's quite typical. And obviously, as loom workers and weavers and cloth workers, it was important that they not only had the space to do these things, but they needed the light. And the dormer windows up there, that's also more recent. But the typical, that looks like a little wooden shed on top of these things. There's some more of them up there. Obviously, these have been heavily restored. But yeah, this is very typical high Baroque period structures. 1725, you can see on the drain pipe there.
Yeah.
But they're buttes. This is what you have, a little wooden shed. So it's like having a little shed on your roof. And it was a great way to get light. Okay.
So now number 12. Now this is where Gilbert and George live. They still live there now. They have been living here since 1968. They'd met at St Martin's the year before, and it was love at first sight. This 18th century house has been restored right down to the smallest minutiae. Even the paint is lead paint. Now, they've never ever cooked anything in there. They haven't even boiled an egg. The kitchen has been untouched. It's just been the same. They just always eat out. Now, they also see the East End of London as a microcosm. They say that absolutely nothing happens in the world if it doesn't also happen in the East End. And you really could not get a more pure embodiment of the East End than these two much loved eccentrics. So many different types of cuisine here. Steak and chips, we've got Korean food, we have Chinese food. It's fantastic. Oh, gnocchi. Okay, I think I'll... How much are they?
We got 6 to 8. About 6 to 8, and you can mix your match.
You fancy some?
Yeah, I'll eat that.
Okay, voila.
All right, there we are. That looks really good. Oh my gosh, is that good?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we're tuning in music here.
Yeah, let's get out of the music.
Sorry, that's the problem about filming. If there's any music around, there's no chance of getting any of this monetized because of copyright. So whenever you're walking around markets, you have to be so careful that you don't pick up on any music. And there's just music everywhere. It's fantastic. I love music, but unfortunately, music, I have to run away from it, which is horrible. It's not like me at all. I'm normally right near the speakers with my head in the bass bins, banging my head, but I can't do that here. I've got to be responsible. So let's make our way outside of this fantastic area and go towards the Truman area, because that's going to be that's outdoors. It's going to be a little bit more. A little bit quieter. Hopefully with me carrying on talking and not pausing at all, this won't be demonetized. Here we go, yay, we're out in the open air now. This square is part of the old Truman Brewery. We have the vintage market here. Fantastic, look at that, Jane Fonda up there wearing Gucci. Obviously, yes, it's as I said, there's a lot of regeneration around here. It's not the same place as it used to be. Is it a bad thing? Yes, it is a bad thing. I don't like regeneration, but it is an awful lot safer. We can walk around and enjoy our food and not really worry about things. Obviously, you've got to be careful. It will never happen. I'm gonna have some of this lovely food. Oh. So this is one of the little pop-up shops. This is classic football shirts, and when Valencia came to play Arsenal a little while ago, they actually had an exhibition of classic Valencia shirts here. You get some fantastic shirts here. I mean, Valencia's shirt's not bad actually, £22.99 for the season just gone. That's actually cheaper than in the Valencia official shop, and they're all official. Villarreal. Oldham Athletic. Sonderjeske. As usual, I spent far too much time in that shop, so I'm editing the rest out. The shop sells over 500,000 different classic shirts, and to the best of my knowledge, they are the only UK stockist for the 2015-2016 home shirt for Club Deportivo Quintanar del Rey, an amateur team from the province of Cuenca, which is currently languishing in Tercera División, soon to become the 5th tier of Spanish football. Check out those mushrooms! Thank you. Cool. Let's go in here. No, we won't go inside the fantastic Rough Trade East record shop because the background music set off copyright infringement alerts, but do check it out when you're next in the area. Adrian Boswell. I really love these artworks. As you can see, he gets pieces of broccoli, sometimes Romanesque if he's feeling adventurous. Here's one of the Romanesque pieces.
Shall I take you to the main artist? It's literally just there.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Perfect person. So basically,
Fantastic.
Adrian Boswell is a local artist.
Yep.
He's been doing collages for around 20 years.
Yep.
The first piece he done is called Broccoli Jungle.
Yep.
And so the broccolis remind him of his childhood. He calls them baby trees.
Okay.
And so, 5 years ago, moving into that gallery, he decides to paint real broccolis and stick it up along the street.
Yes.
Ends up being a pub challenge where these guys get drunk and try and eat the broccolis. They end up in A&E, the council get involved, track it down to Adrian, but they tell him we like how it looks, just don't use real ones.
Right.
And well, here he is.
Oh, fantastic. Here we are.
So yeah, after the council said to him, you know what, let's not put real ones up, he created the plaster molds, and then 3.5 years ago, a couple girls visiting from China,
Yeah.
they came in asking to buy. He
Yeah.
kept saying it's not for sale, it's my street art.
Yeah.
On the 5th time of them pleading to buy it, they literally tear up.
Yeah.
And they tell him how they had got lost from Shoreditch on their first day,
Yeah.
and they found the main road using the broccolis.
Yeah.
So they wanted to take that home with them. So he said to them, all right, look, £25 each, I'll put it on a frame, just come back in half an hour. And they came back, but with 20 more people.
Really?
So yeah, the first time, that's kind of how it started. But a lot of the creative energy that you feel in the area itself, even down to the aesthetics of the homeless people, the graffiti, I think a lot of that energy comes from him.
Yeah.
Based off how the molds are actually made.
Yeah.
It's a lot of circular motion, there's a lot of energy churning in a way.
How do you make the molds?
Just go outside. So the molds themselves are, it's like a latex, it's made from raw broccoli, hence why they have that shape. And then yeah, we keep reusing until the molds had enough. We've still managed to stay afloat.
Yeah.
A lot of it isn't just the artwork, it's him, it's the energy, it's the people here that create what you see.
I'm from Love You London, doing a vlog about London.
Oh, right.
I'll just give you that.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to just show people, because I've seen your stuff around on the streets, and I just wanted to show people on the channel of what you do. It's actually, I mean, your colleague just explained everything perfectly. So
yeah. Well, before the lockdown, I actually started making money.
yeah.
It's been a hard struggle for about 5 years, and I started to become the fastest selling artist in London because I was selling like good quality prints for £10 each when they should have been 40. But the thing is to get everyone in the world buying prints. But with just before lockdown, I had up to 100,000 tourists here every weekend.
Wow.
And they were different tourists, you know, they weren't the same tourists.
No.
So when tourism is here, the excitement from the tourists who really want something to take away from London, and the street tour guides were really bigging my name up because I put broccolis out everywhere.
Yeah.
And the tour guides were saying, this is the broccoli man, and everyone was pleased to meet me and photograph me and everything. Now, completely dead. It's flatlined. And it's going to take a while before it sort of gets to anything near that again.
Yeah.
But I've been supporting other artists in here for the last year in this place and 5 years in my other smaller gallery, and you know, giving people the opportunity to share their work where there's lots of people that are going to buy it. And with a lot of people, they're not frightened to come in here because there's a really good energy, and people don't have to be, you know about art, because at the end of the day, all art is good. There's no such thing as bad art.
Oh, thank you.
No,
Thank you.
pleasure.
It's a real privilege.
Yeah,
Lovely.
good to see you around. You know,
Yeah,
checking
I'll
up
be
on
around.
everyone.
I'll be around for a long time.
Yeah, ain't no stopping you.
No stopping me. No. No fear of that.
Very nice.
Fantastic stuff, isn't it? Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
Should we buy one?
Not just now, maybe, because I don't know
Give strikes to play
Elky bowls in Japanese lake.
So in the market, you might want to just be aware of people snatching it out of the way.
Oh yeah, I'm aware of it. I give them the 10,000 yard stare and they back off.
This place has obviously changed completely. I mean, when I used to come here very late of the 80s and early 90s, right under here there used to be an arch, and in the arch they used to sell loads of printer blocks. It was fantastic. It was just like one big room. This is like 1989 to 1993 or so. You go in there and it's all full of little blocks of print, and I loved it. All the names of the streets around here are all in English and in Bengali.
Come to London, see the sights. Yeah. The people are a lot more interesting than your dialogue. Sorry, Tris. One shoe market.
One shoe market.
There you go.
Okay, it's one of the last sort of like real genuine old bits of the market where you do get proper bric-a-brac, proper junk. Now I remember, back in the days when I was a lot more naive, I remember coming here twice. First time to buy.
Minus keepers.
Okay, so I remember coming here in about 1989, 1990, when I was a student, and there were these vans always that would try and sell. There were stooges, obviously, but they would sell all these boxes. They'd pretend that the police were going to turn up any minute, and they were trying to offload all their stuff, and they'd be selling sort of like portable televisions and all this fabulous technology for like £5. For like £5 and whatever, and people would like thrust money into their hands, and everyone would rush up and they'd end up walking away with the box. And lots of televisions as well they'd sell. And so I came here to buy a television. I just heard the police are coming quickly. I need to get rid of all of these things. Didn't say what was in the boxes, and you'd end up giving them 50 quid. And the first time I did it, it turned out to be a dinner set of like fairly sort of like standard black porcelain so then I came back again to try and buy another one, and that time, I see everyone I didn't learn my lesson. I ended up buying a carriage clock for like 30 quid or something like that. I was hoping to get a little portable television, and it was a little carriage clock. It was worth about £3 or £4. So I fell for it again. I'm much wiser now, of course. That was 30 years ago, but there you go, and that was here. And I don't know if these things still happen, but last time we were here there was someone trying to sell us a what was it, one of those
mobility scooter.
A mobility scooter. And if you ever do lose a bicycle, if you get a bicycle stolen, this tends to be the place where people tend to come to find it and buy it back again. Often you get bicycles here for sale. But this is where you do pick up a bargain. Oh, talking of bargains, hang on. Ah. Actually, I really like that. I do like that. Excuse me.
You sure know how to show a lady a good time.
Excuse me, how much is this?
I was asking 25, last price 20 quid.
20 quid?
I'd leave it now.
20 quid?
Stand straight. This is what we are on here.
It's a bit, yeah. Take my weight, that's the only problem.
Yeah, no,
so I'm.
it's from me, Susie.
That's right?
Yeah.
I'm 117 kilos. Sharon, what do you think? Sharon? What do you think? She's shaking her head.
At this point, Sharon hid, as she did not feel as passionately about the stall as I did.
Unfortunately, my wireless lavalier microphone was out of range at this point, but he wasn't going to budge on the price anyway. And talking of money, it won't cost you a penny to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and please like this video. It will help us get promoted in YouTube searches, and one day we might be able to take it to the next level and never have to worry about haggling over the price of a stall ever again. I can only hope. Sharon, where are you? You sure?
Hell no.
Because that seat's
Nasty. That was nasty.
That's
No.
bar seat's really
No.
uncomfortable.
No. No, you buy that and I leave. Hell no.
20
£20, you're having a
He
Steffi.
was 25.
No way. I think it's not worth a fiver. Forget it.
See this place? This place isn't.
Nope.
I mean, this place used to be a place where you get ripped off, but it's not anymore.
£20.
It's not. It's not. That's not a rip-off price. 20 quid.
He needs therapy. This must stop.
No, but it was really good.
That's the end.
In the next instalment of Love Your London, I take on a chess grandmaster.
Last week, one man, he took my bishop. You know what's happened to him?
We look at some more urban art, and we follow in the footsteps of the famous Cray twins. See you then. From Acton Town to Wimbledon, from Brixton to beyond, love your London, have a banana.